Rim in Queensland, and I'm excited to be jumping on and crafting with you again today. So this is my regular time that I go live every Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Queensland time. So I'll wait for a little while for everyone to get the notification to jump on. So when you jump on and you see the notification, please say hello, let me know where you're watching from. And I'm going to have a little bit of a fun crafting session with you today. So as you may know, some of the items that we have in our exclusive online offering from our retail store is coming back. So the circle punches, which I'm super, super excited. We've been wanting the circle punches for I don't know how long, and they've actually finally returned. So that's super exciting. So if you are brand new to watching me live, I go live every Thursday morning and I show you step by step how to create some beautiful handmade cards. Today I'm taking a step back and I'm getting back into some more simple, easier cards to create using minimal supplies and just having a generally fun time and using those awesome circle punches that we have been asking for Stampin' Up to return, and they have listened to us, and thankfully they have brought back the 1 3/4 inch circle and the 2-inch circle punch. So I will be using those today in our crafting. But I wanted to show you some fun, easy stuff that you can do with punches and how you can create some really gorgeous, easy cards using circle punches, and just a couple of different ways of getting some different effects of using those circle punches. So hello, I can see I've got Susan, Debbie, and Jana, hello from Oregon. Hello, welcome from across the pond. So welcome everybody. So as I said, when you jump on, please say hello, let me know where you're watching from. And I'll just tell you a few things that I have going on in my Stampin' Up business at the moment. So anything that you need to know about with classes, anything that I have going on in my Stampin' Up business. Hey, Susan, how you going? All the way from Bow Desert. Hey, Glenda. So anything that I do in my Stampin' Up business, any of my classes, any events that I advertise all through my email list. So if you're not on my email list, please use that link in the show more box down below and join my email list, and you will be kept up to date with anything that's going on with Stampin' Up or any of the classes or events that I'm actually holding with my Stampin' Up business. A lot of the things that I do in my Stampin' Up business is not only in person, it can actually be an online class as well. So the majority of the time, anything that I offer in person, I also offer as an online content as well. So hey Elaine, how you going? You haven't been here. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, that's so sad, Elaine. Hugs to you. It has obviously been a horrible time for you. Very sad. But get back to crafting and get into crafting, and hopefully the crafting community can make you feel a lot better. So welcome everybody. Okay, so let's get started with the few things that I have going on at the moment, and all of the links for anything that I have going on are in the description of this video or in the show more box down below on YouTube. So first of all, we have our Global Creative Stamp Camp. Hang on, my camera is a little bit crooked there. Global Creative Stamp Camp. Now, this is a stamp camp that our Global Creative Tutorial Bundle group are doing for the month of March, because we have the gorgeous new Online Irresistible Suite. Hello, Irresistible Suite. Everyone's loving it, and I'm telling you, I'm totally in love with it. So for the stamp camp, it costs $55.95 to participate, and for that $55.95, you'll get the Designer Series paper, a roll of white crinkle seam binding, and a pack of the loose frosted gems, and you'll get access to 12 PDF tutorials and 12 videos. And we're holding this live in a Facebook group, a private Facebook group, but we're also uploading our videos on the PDF to unlisted YouTube videos. So if you're not on Facebook, you can still participate. So $55.95. The link is in the show more box down below, as I said, to register if you are interested in doing that. My monthly stamps club that I do every month, I'm actually using the Hello Irresistible stamp set this month, but monthly stamps club is a great way of adding to your crafting supplies, but also getting inspiration delivered to your door every single month. So we pick a stamp set for the month. You get a card kit to make 6 cards. You get a video tutorial showing you step by step how to make those 6 cards. And you get envelopes, you get the embellishments and ribbon. You even get your bows tied for you. So it's a great way to help you with your creativity. So it's $50 for the month, and I also offer an upgraded version that you can actually include the dies as well if you like to get the bundle. Also, so as I said, the month of March, I'm using the Irresistible Blooms stamp set. So if you wanted to get in on Stamps Club, please feel free to click on the link in the show more box down below or in the description of this video, and it will take you to my Stamps Club page on my website, and you can read all about the Stamps Club and how it works and the process of how it works, and then the registration link is down below. You can set up a monthly subscription that $50 comes out each month if you want to not have to worry about paying each month and making sure you've got your payments set. You can set up a subscription, but please, if you're going to do that, make sure that you definitely register to let me know that you've joined the Stamps Club. My two-tone flora class is my coffee and card class for the month of February, and we're going to make some awesome cards. We're also going to make 2 gift boxes in this class as well. So this class is an online event, and it's also an in-person event. So for the online section, you will get the PDF, you will get the designer series paper, some ribbon and some embellishments and all the cardstock to be able to create the projects. And for the in-person event, you'll be able to come and hang out with us. So online is $50 per month and in person is $40 per month. And the reason is just the difference of the cost of the postage. And our One Sheet Wonder Club. Wow, I am so amazed at how many people we have had sign up for this. So Rose Ward and myself, so Rose is from New York in the US, and we are now bringing you a monthly global One Sheet Wonder monthly club. So this is fantastic. You get to make a minimum of 12 cards per month or more. So in this class, so you get so much more in this class. In this class, you actually get the designer series paper, so the Hello Irresistible designer series paper. You get a roll of the gorgeous gold and vanilla satin edge ribbon, so this one here. You get a pack of the loose frosted dots, and you also get a pack of A4 Subtles cardstock, and you also get a full pack of envelopes. So you get absolutely jam-packed a lot of product. So enough cardstock, enough designer series paper, ribbon and embellishments to be able to create your 12 cards, and you will still have some left over to be able to do more things. I am also giving online access to another event that I have, so as a special deal. So please, if you're interested, make sure you jump onto the registration link. But as I said, this one here is jam-packed full of product. Designer series paper, cardstock, envelopes, ribbon, embellishments. Absolutely fantastic. You will need, if you want to do them exactly like we're doing them, you will need the gorgeous Irresistible Blooms bundle. All right, so let's get crafting. So what I decided to do was I decided to cut a heap of card bases. Now, the other thing that I want to tell you is a little secret tip of mine that I do. I cut coordinating card layers, and I have 2 of these little containers that I actually use, and I put card layer sizes in these containers. So you can see here, I have lots and lots of different colors of our cardstock. And the reason that I do that is so that when I'm crafting and I decide that I want to put a layer in, I go through these little boxes and I find the layer or the color that I want to have. It makes crafting a lot easier. I also do the same thing, and I'm going to show you this. I also do the same thing with my card base sizes as well. So with my card base sizes, I've used just a labeling machine, and I actually have them all cut and ready to go in their colors. So that actually makes crafting so much easier and so much quicker. So I thought what I would do is use some of those colored layers with what I'm going to do today. I've also got some designer series paper that I'm going to use, but the star of the show is our 1 3/4 inch punch and our 2-inch punch. So I'm actually going to show you some great fun ways of doing an easy fun card. All right, so I've cut insert layers. I've also cut layers for the front, and I have my colored layers here in the little box. Okay, so I've got card bases cut, ready to go. So I thought I'd just do basic white and stick to an easy card base so that we can coordinate with all the other colors. So the first thing what I want to do is I want to take some designer series paper. So I've got a pack of paper here that I have from the Regency Park suite. And I'm just going to grab some of my scraps. This is the best way to do it, is grabbing some scraps that you have and look at some of the colors that are going to coordinate together. Okay. All right. So now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut out of these scraps. I'm actually going to cut some circles. Now, I don't know which ones I'm going to use, but I'm going to cut some circles and we will play with this. So I'm going to cut some 1 3/4 inch circles. I'll cut some out of that one. And this is a great way too to use up some of your scraps of paper as well. And I can get another one out of there. Okay, let's cut some 2-inch ones now. So I might cut, can I get a 2-inch? Yes, I can, out of that scrap. Okay, and we might do, I can get a 2-inch one out of that. What color haven't we used? Use that one. We used them all. Okay, so we've got some cute circles there. So now what I'm actually going to do with those circles, I'm just going to look at what colors go together. So I feel like they all go together really nicely. And we have some blue here as well. So look at those colors there that we have all going together. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a card front and I'm just going to arrange some of these on my card front. So I'm going to pop that there, that there, there. Maybe that one under there. I think that could look quite nice. Oh, what do we have on that one? Yeah, no, I think that way. I'm going to change that and that. Okay, so you can see here we have a cute little arrangement of circles. Okay, so this is super, super quick and easy. So I'm just going to, with that, I think that looks good. So I'm just going to take those, the ones that are on the bottom, I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. This is called quick, easy crafting, people. And pop another little one there. This one here will pop coming in maybe there like that. Now these two here we can actually pop up, so I'm going to add some dimensionals to that. So welcome everybody. If you've just been joining, what we're actually going to do is we're doing some crafting here. I like that stripy look. Or do we want 2 lots of flower? No, I think we need 2 lots of flowers. Okay, so I'm just going to add some dimensionals onto the back of those circles. I'm going to add one just down there. I'm going to add another one. Just up there. And then I'm going to take one of my little strips here and I'm just going to stamp. What do I have? Hello. I'm just stamp hello. This is out of the Irresistible Blooms, so the new online exclusive, okay, Irresistible Blooms. So I'm going to stamp that in, I'm thinking Balmy Blue. And we will just stamp the little word hello. Ooh, let's turn that over and try that again. That looks a bit better. There must have been a little bit of residue of a color on there. Okay, so we have that. I'm going to grab my scissors and we'll trim that at a bit of an angle. Now I want that to probably go in underneath my circles a little bit there, but I still want to pop it up. So I'm going to grab some dimensionals and pop that up. And see the beauty of making a mistake? There's two sides of cardstock, so we can always turn it over and go again. Hello and welcome everybody that's joining. All right, so we have hello. All right, so now what I do is in my cardstock layers, I go through and I think, what color do I have? Look at that. I have Balmy Blue that can go underneath it, or I have Petal Pink. So now it's your job to vote. Do we put Petal Pink under it, or do we do Balmy Blue? Type into the comments and let me know, Petal Pink or Balmy Blue. So simple, easy cutting. So we've just cut some designer series circles with our punches. So tell me into the comments what color you want me to use underneath. Do we want to do Petal Pink underneath, or do we want to do Balmy Blue? I'm just going to fold my card base while I'm waiting for those comments to come through. Okay, so we've got 3 for Balmy Blue. 4 for Balmy Blue. Do we have a 5th for Balmy Blue? You all know 5 votes, and that's what the one it is. Oh, there we go. Jeannie's voted Balmy Blue. Okay, we're going to do Balmy Blue. So I'm going to put that Petal Pink one back in. So as you can see, this is quick, easy crafting when you've got your supplies already sorted and ready to go. So I'm just going to pop that one on there. I'm going to glue that directly down onto my white card base. Oh, when Susan said pink. Okay. Now let me see. I think what I'm going to do is use my Milky Dots, because in our Milky Dots we have these gorgeous little pink. So I think I can bring the pink into, just for you, Susan, bring a little bit of pink into it. So I'm just going to grab my Take Your Pick tool. Now, if you don't have a handy dandy Take Your Pick tool, I can tell you these Take Your Pick tools are fantastic for when you're crafting and wanting to pick up embellishments. Although now it's going to make a liar out of me. So I'm just going to add a couple of little there you go. A couple of little embellishments on there. And I'm just going to take some of our, this is our elegant trim, the gold elegant trim, and I'm just going to tie a little bow, because you know me, I can't have any project without a bow. So I'm just going to tie a tiny little bow and pop a tiny little bow on there, and there we have a super quick, easy card using circle punches. So as you can see, super, super easy. Now I could, for the insert, I could take a layer for the insert here, and I could take some of these circles and create a cute little pattern in that corner, some of the circles that we had left over, which we've got 2 of them. I'm going to glue those down on the insert. So 1 there, and you can see I've got it protruding and hanging off my card. And the reason that I'm doing that is I'm going to go in with my scissors and just trim that off. Okay, and we have a really nice insert that's going with the front of our card. Now we're bringing in some of those elements from the front of the card to the inside of our card. Okay, and using liquid glue, we're able to maneuver that around and get it exactly where we need it to be. So there you go. Very, very simple, easy, pretty card using just simple punched out circles. What do you think about that? What are your thought process when it comes to how easy and quick that card came together? And not to mention that it will be fantastic for you to use up some of your designer series paper by just using some of the punches. So as you've seen, I just used my scraps. I didn't actually have to go in and use a new bit of designer series paper. I just used up some of my scraps that I had on hand and created a really quick, easy card. All right, so let's move on to card number 2 and how we can do another similar thing using some designer series paper, but in a little bit of a different way. So let's move that aside. Just clean up my desk here a little bit more. Okay, so the next thing that I thought of doing was getting a card layer, punching a couple of circles out of that card layer. So I'm just going to punch 1 there, 1 this way, and hopefully I will get another one down in here. I will. Another one. Just there. Okay, so we've punched 3 circles out. Now those circles, you can keep those because you'll be able to use them on another project. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to get some designer series paper and pop some designer series paper in behind here. So I decided to use the gorgeous gingham paper, and I thought we could do a couple of different colors. Let me see what colors we have. So this is the, it's called the Country Gingham paper. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to do 1 color. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do with this paper, I'm actually going to cut it to the same size as that layer. So I'm just going to bring in my paper trimmer. And I'm going to cut it at the same size. There and there. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to add some glue to the back of that white piece. And I'm going to adhere that to that designer series paper layer. Now you could pop this up too and make those circles even more obvious, but I'm totally okay like that. And then I'm going to grab a piece of mint macaron to go in behind. I'm going to just trim a tiny, tiny little bit off the bottom of that. I must have been a little bit too generous with that layer. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put some mint macaron in behind so we can see a really nice border, nice fine border all the way around. You love the gingham paper, Margaret? So now, as you can see, you could use some nice patterned paper in behind here. You could use some of those floral patterns. You could put a different pattern in behind each circle. So you don't necessarily have to have the same pattern for each one. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm actually going to take one of these circles that I've punched out, and I have some flowers that I have left over from one of my projects. So I'm actually going to, no, I need a larger circle. So I'm going to grab the 2-inch circle, and I'm going to punch out maybe a little bit of the mint macaron, actually, to tell you the truth. So let me see. I've got another piece here. Let's punch out a circle of that. And we can pop the flower up onto the mint macaron circle. So I'm going to use some dimensionals. A smaller flower would have been better. Oh, I do have a smaller flower. Let's do the smaller pink one. I was keeping those flowers because I want to do a different one again. All right, so I'm going to pop that flower onto our mint macaron circle. I've got a couple of leaves that I can tuck in underneath. So we've got one leaf coming out there and another leaf coming out up through there. We can pop that up onto some dimensionals. And we'll pop that just on. I'm going to pop it there because I don't want the flowers to protrude too far over there. And then, of course, we will stamp a sentiment on there. Actually, yes, I'm going to do hello again. So let me clean that hello stamp off. Where did I just put it there? And if I knew where my stamp cleaner was, would be great. There it is there in front of me. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in my Stampin' Scrub. Now, Stampin' Scrub is fantastic for cleaning your stamps. It has nice brushy pile. It has a wet side and a dry side. In our Stampin' Scrub, it has little water drops there, and it has a sunshine. So you can know, it doesn't really matter as long as you have a wet side and a dry side. So the Stampin' Mist actually conditions our stamps, so it keeps our stamps in pristine condition. And it is something that you may want to add it to your wish list. All right, so we're going to stamp that, I think, in petal pink. Got floating flamingo there. Let's get petal pink, just to bring the pink of the flower in. So we're going to ink up with petal pink. Hello. And we will do the same thing. We will trim that at an angle. And this one, I'm actually going to pop it in. I'm not going to pop it up. I'm actually just going to pop it in underneath that circle with a little bit of liquid glue. Oh, as in like, yeah, flower. Yeah, not flower as in plant flower. Okay, so we have hello there. We'll pop that one up on dimensionals and pop it onto our white card base. Who has a special pattern of how they put their dimensionals on the back of their card? Do you have a special pattern, the way you actually put it on the back of your card? Because I do. I put 3 down the side and I put 3 in the middle, but I stagger the 3 in the middle to the outside ones. Type in the comments, do you have a special pattern, how you put your dimensionals on? So with my handy dandy take your pick tool, it's fantastic for being able to poke into those dimensional backings and take the backing paper off them. I use it all the time in my craft room, every day. In fact, I have several take a pick tools. So I'm going to do that. Now for the insert of my card, I'm actually, let me see if this one's going to be big enough. Is it going to be big enough? It's just going to be big enough to go across the insert of my card because I want to use this other scrap. So we're using just one sheet of designer series paper here. I'm going to use that for the inside of my card. So Margaret, you use the same pattern as what I just did. I can see Facebook user, I don't know who that is, that said yes I do. Type into the comments and let me know your name because you're in a private group obviously, so I can't see exactly who is saying that comment. So it's not quite long enough to go across the insert of my card, but I think it will be long enough to do what I want it to do. It gives a really great feature to the inside of the card. Sorry, in the Restream program that I have, when you're watching from a private Facebook group of mine, I can't actually see. It just says Facebook user. All right, so I'm then going to, I've got that for the insert. I'm then going to pop that on the front. And I'm thinking that the gorgeous Milky Dots will go with that as well. So we'll add a couple of Milky Dots. So I'm just going to add just a couple popped around. Now I'm going to show you a little neat trick with your designer series paper too for your envelope to do a matching envelope. So we'll grab a spare envelope and on that back part of the envelope, we're actually going to adhere this designer series paper onto there. So I tend to do it with my liquid glue so that you can move it around. But I'm just going to add some liquid glue on the back flap of my envelope. And then with that leftover piece of designer series paper, we're going to adhere it down as far as we possibly can go. Like so. And nice and even both sides. And then I'm just going to trim around, and that gives us a really nice decorated envelope, but uses up some of that designer series paper because we really need to cut up our designer series paper and use it. There's no point hoarding the designer series paper if we're not using it. Okay, so there we have a gorgeous card. What do you think? So simple and easy, just using that die cutout shape there. Now, yes, you could do the other way, that you actually just cut out some of those circles and put it on, but it just has a different feel. So if you popped up that layer, you would find that it would make those cutout circles look a little bit more obvious as well. All right, so that's card number 2. Let's move on to card number 3. So what I'm actually going to do in card number 3 is we actually have masking paper. So, and I don't have this in my supplies down underneath, and I do apologize for not popping it into the supplies down underneath, but I'm actually going to cut out a circle out of this paper. So I want to do a large circle, so the 2-inch circle, and I want to go in as far as I possibly can to be able to cut this circle out. So I'm going to cut it out like that. And for some reason, oh, don't tell me I got the bad. No, I don't think I did. It doesn't want to come out. Oh, it does want to come out. There we go. That's not quite as good a circle as what I wanted, but oh no, it'll do. It'll work. It's going to work. I don't know what was going on there. It was the backing paper that it came out, so it's all good. All right. So then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut this to make this like a mask. So I'm going to cut it that way, and I might just leave it like that. That'll be good. All right. So now masking paper is a great thing to be able to mask off bits and pieces and to get a totally different look. So we've made like a template, okay? So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to peel the backing off this. But the one thing with this masking paper is it's really, really sticky. So what we want to do is we want to stick it on ourselves. So being careful, we want to stick it on ourselves and we want to get that stickiness off it as much as we possibly can. We want it to still stay a little bit sticky, but we want to stick it onto ourselves, get a bit of our oil off our body and things so that it's not too sticky. So if you've got some clothing, you can pop it on your clothing just to get it so that it's not as sticky as what it normally is when you first take that backing off, okay? So we've got some grungy, messy body dust, whatever, underneath. All right. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take one of our white layer pieces that we're going to use on the front of the card, and we're going to create a little bit of a mask background. Okay. So we're going to take one of these. We're going to line up where we want that circle to be. So I want the circle to be around about there. So we're going to line that up and we're going to stick it down onto our layer. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab some blending brushes and we're going to blend a little bit of a background. So I think what I want to do is use a couple of different tones in colors. So I could use some balmy blue and maybe some starry sky. So let's use balmy blue and starry sky. So I'm going to use a scrap piece of paper just to get some of the ink out of my blending brush. So with my blending brushes, I normally use one for, say, like the blue tones. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use the lighter color first, and then I'm going to go into the darker color to create a little bit of a background here. So I'm going to go with balmy blue. I'm going to ink up my balmy blue. I'm going to rub the excess off, and I'm just going to blend over that circle. Now, be careful not to blend up the top here. If you think you're going to end up blending up the top there, maybe pop a little bit of paper over there so that you don't end up blending up above that circle. We want to stay within this circle. Okay. So we've got some balmy blue happening there. Then I'm going to go into the starry sky, and I'm going to blend a little bit with my starry sky. Now, starry sky is going to be quite dark, so we want the starry sky to be down the bottom because we want it to look a little bit like an ombre look. Okay, so we've got the starry sky, and I want a little bit more depth in that bottom part, so we're just going to go a little bit deeper in that bottom. Okay, then I'm going to get quite a lot of that color out of my blending brush, and I'm going to go back through with my, I'm going to go over the top, all over the top. I'm going to go back through with some of my balmy blue. Okay, so what we've created is, are you ready for it? A beautiful circle using that mask. Okay, so we have a circle there like that. Now I'm going to make a really simple, easy card, and this came about from doing one of these, or a couple of these cards in my last video last week, and I just loved the way this actually worked. So I felt like it was a really, really great idea for making some quick, easy cards and getting a really good look without actually having to do much work. So what we did was we used the watercolor shaped background stamp to do that shape. So this time we're actually just using a stencil made with our masking paper. So I'm then going to ink up in black memento ink just a flower that is going to go over the top of that circle. Okay. And then, of course, I'm just going to do a sentiment. Let me see what I have. I'm still going to stick with the hello, I think. Oh no, I'm going to do I like you. Because I think it's cute. I like this saying. I'm going to do I like you, but I'm going to do the I like you just down here. I like you. Okay. And then, of course, now with my layers, I'm going to try and find a layer that's going to go in behind that. So I'm going to look at my blues, and I really only have a balmy blue layer that's going to be able to go in behind that because I don't have any of the other blues in my layers just yet. So I'm going to do a balmy blue layer in behind there. So I'm going to add that. Hey, Sue, how are you going? So I'm just going to add that with some liquid glue. And pop it onto my balmy blue layer. And then, of course, we're going to grab our white card base. Oh, and I've got ink all over me, but that's okay because the layer is going to go on top of that anyway. Okay, so I'm going to pop that on there. There's a little tiny bit of ink up the top there, but I can actually trim that off a little tiny bit to get rid of that ink. So see, I've got an ink splotch, but I'm dealing with it. Okay, so let's go just like that. So we've removed the ink off the top. The rest is going to be covered by that layer. Just remember when you're using white to make sure you see what you have on your hands. All right, so I'm just going to pop that up on some dimensionals. So sometimes for us avid crafters, for us to actually strip back and get back into basic, easy card making, because a lot of the time we want to make cards and we want to make nice looking cards, but we don't want to be spending hours sitting in our craft room making one card. So these cards are fantastic if you've got multiple people that you need to make cards for, or even just simple stamping. If you're brand new to crafting and you decided that you wanted to start to create some gorgeous cards. As you can see here, I've got some designer series paper, some cardstock, a little bit of ink, and the circle punches. Okay, so I'm going to pop that one on there like that. And then, of course, with our milky dots once again, I'm going to use these gorgeous blue ones, and I'm just going to add a larger one there and a smaller one, and even maybe just a smaller one there. And a couple down there like that. And there you have a simple, easy, yep, it looks simple but very effective. Exactly. So really, really easy, but using your punch to make a template to be able to get that easy look. All right, so that's card number 3. Let's move on to card number 4. So card number 4, what I thought I would do is I thought I would use a little bit of the new 3D embossing folders that we have. So they are in our new online exclusive products. I thought I would use this one because I love this embossing folder, and I thought, seeing I'm using circles, I thought circles would go fantastic being embossed in the background. So it's still keeping that circular feel happening. So I'm just going to emboss a layer. So I'm going to pop that into my embossing folder. Now, these are 3D embossing folders. We have a line on the bottom that actually shows us how to line up our cardstock so we get the spots going straight on our cardstock. So it's really fantastic to be able to line your piece of cardstock up under that. And if you've got the Stampin' Up emblem up, facing up towards you, that is the top of your embossing. So just a little bit of a hint when it comes to embossing, because a lot of people say, I don't ever know when I put the embossing folder in which way it's going to be. Which way is going to be the top side. So if you have the Stampin' Up emblem facing up towards you, that is the top side of that embossed layer. You can, of course, use the opposite side. Like, no one's saying that you have to use it the right way up. And I will show you when I turn it over what it looks like with the debossed side, not the embossed side. So I'm just going to run that through. So I've used my base plate, I've used my number 4 plate, and I've made sure that I have my fold going through my machine first, and I only go one way. I don't go back with my embossing folders, and the reason being, if you don't have the embossing folder closed exactly straight, you can tend to crack along that spine, and you don't want that to happen with your embossing folders. All right, so I'm just going to show you out of that. So we have the embossed side there. So we've got the raised dots, but you could also turn it over and do it that way as well. So whichever way you decide to use it, you can use the embossed side or you can use the debossed side as well. So there's always 2 sides to anything that you used with embossing, which is fantastic. All right, so what I thought I would do is use these 3 gorgeous flowers that I have left over from just a bit of designing that I actually did. And I cut out a lot of these flowers out of the Irresistible Blooms suite. So I thought what I would do is just show you how we can make a really quick, easy card doing this. Now, we either are going to use, I'm going to use some circles, and I think I'll punch out the circles maybe in just basic white. So I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do the 1 3/4 inch circles on these. Let's see. Anyway, I've got one over here that I've already got. So let's see what it looks like up on that. Or do I want to use the 2 inch? Let's see. We'll try the 2 inch and see what looks best. Do I want the 2 inch one? Oh, but can I fit 3 2 inches across there? We will see. 1, 2, and I can't quite get it out of that, so I'll just grab another piece. 3. Yep, they will. Okay. So my plan is using the circle punches to create a base to put a really nice embellishment on. So I've cut 3 of the 2 inch circles, and I'm going to pop our flowers up on dimensional. So the dies for this set actually match the designer series paper. So a lot of people are saying, you know, can you cut those flowers out? Yes, the dies match the designer series paper. So yes, you can actually cut the flowers out, which is fantastic. So I'm just going to pop that one up onto one of those circles. So we have that. We're going to do the same thing with our 2 pink flowers as well. I love it when I use leftover bits and create cards with my leftover bits. Okay, so I'm putting dimensionals on the back of the pink flowers, and we'll pop those up onto our circles. So we have 1 there and 1, whoops, there. Okay, Now I have some leaves left over, so I will actually arrange this on here and then we will see what we're going to do with the leaves. So I'm actually going to do these ones just adhered straight down onto that embossed layer. So I'm going to pop one over there. And I'm going to pop this one over the other side. So I'm just using my Seal Plus and popping that one over that side. And then that should leave us enough room that we can actually pop that one up in the center. So I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals. So sometimes the easiest way to do that is to just pop a little bit of dimensionals in between those two. And then I can actually pop that one up on that. Okay. And then, of course, with our leaves, I'm going to add some leaves just to create a really pretty look. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add the leaves to our middle piece, our middle flower, like so. I think that will look quite nice. All right, so I'm just going to add some glue to those. I might put the pointy side in. I'm a bit funny about the pointy sides on these leaves. I like to tuck it in and have the other side out. That way. And that one tucked in under there. And this one. Hey Leslie, how you going? Welcome. So feel free to share this video back onto your social media. So share it back onto your Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, you can hit down below. There's a share button there. You can actually share it back onto Facebook, and it helps more people get to see our crafting. All right, so I'm going to do, I think, a petal pink layer in underneath that and use my white card base once again. Okay, so white card base folded in half. We'll glue that onto the petal pink layer. Okay, so Julie said that we should be using some rhinestones on the flower. We can arrange that, Julie, just because you asked so nicely. So we will pop that onto there. We will then pop that up onto dimensionals. And I'm using all the edge bits of my dimensionals. Please don't forget that all those edge bits are still valuable pieces of dimensions that can be used on your card. There. Here we go with my pattern again on the back. Okay, and such an accomplishment to actually finish off a sheet of dimensionals. Who gets that moment when you actually finish off a sheet of dimensionals? So as I said, our One Sheet Wonder Club has really, really taken off. We've got quite a few people that have actually registered for our One Sheet Wonder Club, which has been really, really great. Rose and I are so excited that we have started this new One Sheet Wonder Club. You get a minimum of 12 cards per month, and you get all the supplies to be able to create the 12 cards, except for the bundle that we use. But you can actually choose to use another bundle of your own choice if you don't mind that they're not going to be exactly like ours. But the whole idea of the One Sheet Wonder is really making sure that you are able to create the cards. And if you want to create the gorgeous cards that we create, and I'm telling you, the cards that we have created with this Irresistible Blooms set is absolutely stunning. I was absolutely amazed when my cards come together, and then when I looked at what Rose had created as well, I was like, wow, those cards are simply gorgeous. And if you did the 6 cards that Rose does and the 6 cards that I do, you would have 12 gorgeous cards to be able to send out to family and friends, and they are stunning. All right, so let me see if I have some basic rhinestones, which I do because Julie asked so nicely to get a basic rhinestone in the middle of each of these. So I will add one to the middle, one to that side, and one to that side. And we might even pop just a couple of little ones scattered around, just to add a little bit more to the bling. But there you have another really, really awesome card. Oh, full of the flu, Leslie. Really? That's not something that you really need, is it, at the moment? So you can see there that card. So let's bring in all those cards. So we have made 4 easy cards today. So we have that one. We have the colored background. So using our circle punches to create a mask background, using just our designer series paper and creating a really, really awesome fun card using the designer series paper. And then also using the cutout pieces and then popping a little bit of designer series paper in behind, but also using the leftover piece of your designer series paper on your envelope. So what do you think about those cards this morning, people? Give me the thumbs up if you love what I do. And I come live every Thursday morning here to create and have a fun time with you and teach you step by step how to create these gorgeous fun cards. So let me know which one's your favorite out of this. Type it into the comments. I will go 1, 2, 3, and 4. So type into the comments 1, 2, 3, or 4. Which one is your favorite? Beautiful, simple cards, but effective. Exactly. So I'm going to show that comment. That is exactly what my purpose was today, to come to you and show you really, really easily how you can create some gorgeous cards and by just using circle punches, designer series paper, and a couple of embellishments. So number 4 is the best. This one down here with the envelope matching. Thanks, Glenda. Glenda's telling me great cards as usual. Number 4 is your favorite, but you like number 1 too. I feel like number 1's my favorite. This one here. So thank you very much for hanging out with me today and having a great time crafting. So a little bit about the things that we have going on. So we have the Stamp Camp happening, which is the Global Creative Tutorial Bundle. That is, you get designer series paper, a roll of white crinkle seam binding, and a pack of the loose frosted gems. And you get access to the 12 videos and 12 PDF tutorials, and it's in a Facebook group, so we're actually designing it that you can craft along with us, which is fantastic. I'm also doing the One Sheet Wonder, is our Sweet Delicious One Sheet Wonder. Sorry, it's not Sweet Delicious anymore, but we're using a sweet every month. So we're coming together, Rose and I, to actually bring you a really action-packed One Sheet Wonder Club every month. Now, for that club, you get so much product, it is not funny. You get designer series paper, ribbon, embellishments, a pack of mixture cardstock, A4 cardstock, or if you're in the US, whatever your mixture pack of cardstock size is, and you also get a whole pack of envelopes, so 40 envelopes as well. You will be making a minimum of 12 cards per month, 12 cards plus. So depending on what size paper we use and how many gorgeous cards we can create, we're trying to give you as many cards as we possibly can in that club. So it's a really, really great club to be a part of. My monthly stamps club, if you're not into One Sheet Wonders and you want to get help with your inspiration each month and collect a stamp set each month, my monthly stamps club is $50, and it's a great thing to be a part of. And what else do I have going on? My monthly coffee and card class, in person or online. So I've got many, many things. So whatever suits you, there's a class tailored for most people. So if it's not one class, it's the other class that might suit you. Any of the details are always sent out in an email, and I'm also always posting on social media. So on my Facebook and on my Instagram, you will always see the links to any of the classes and events that I have on. But if you are actually on my email list, it's the best way. You will be informed every time I have a new class and every time I have anything available. Not to mention, if you wanted to join my team and be a part of our crafty community, we have the awesome joining special of $169 you pay, and you get to choose $235 worth of product. So that is always the best way to buy. It's always the best deal in the book, but you get to be a part of my crafty community. And if you live locally, you get to come to team meetings in person. If you live away from me locally, we get to do a team meeting, which is via a Zoom link and streamed live into our Facebook group. We also do weekly challenges in our team. We have loads and loads of fun, and my job as your team leader is to keep you inspired and keep you crafting and make sure you've got those products off your shelf and on your desk and crafting with them. Thank you, everyone, for spending a little bit of time with me. I will try to be jumping on next Thursday, but I'm not sure whether I will get time to do it. I will try really hard to do it. I have my retreat, my 2-day retreat coming up next weekend. So I'm super, super busy trying to get organized for retreat and hanging out with crafty people for 2 whole days. I'm super excited. So anyone that's attending my retreat, I will be seeing you soon. So it will be awesome. So thank you, everyone, and have a great day. And until next time, happy crafting.